Hey everybody, it's TC with Fresh Waters with another bait of the week. Today we're talking about the Bass Pro Shop Tournament Series Speed Shad. This is the Bluegill Flash. It has that green pumpkin or baby bass color, whatever you want to call it, with blue, gold, and black flakes. Very simple. I either like to use that VMC swim bait hook or I like to use a chatterbait. Lastly, I like to use a swim jig. Bass Pro Shop Speed Shad. The Blue Flash is what I like to use, and with the VMC swim bait hook, just like the Fluke, what I showed you in the prior video, the lure holder right there, you're going to twist them on all the way, right in the center of the nose. Then you're going to measure out your hook. Always measure your hook. If you don't know how to do that by now, I've said it many times before, right where your hook starts to bend, you're going to measure it up next to the soft plastic, and that is where you want the tip of your hook to go. So after you measure it up, you're going to bring the tip of your hook in there. And you got to, like I said before, you got to make sure it's in the center because that's going to give you your best action when you're retrieving. Hide the tip of the hook in there, and bam, that's what you got. And we got the jig. So, and the jig is set up just like the chatterbait. So I'm going to show you how to set up this with the basic jig. But you set it up the same exact way with the chatterbait, so you don't have to worry about that. Don't watch the video and go, but he never told us how to set up the chatterbait. It's the same. So, just like all the other hooks, measure first, cut once. Measure twice, cut once. Whatever the saying is. Measure it, the bend of your hook, that's where the tip is going. Kind of push that weed guard out of the way. Run it right through the nose. The middle of the nose, and what you're going to do here is you're going to feed it through the middle. So keep it to the middle of the lure, all the way up, and then boom, you got yourself a nice little paddle tail trailer set up. This is a pretty long trailer. I understand that you're kind of leaving yourself weak for short strikes. What I like to do is I still like to use the 4.8, and I'll probably cut or bite off like a ½ inch. The reason for that is, yes, you can buy the shorter version of this, which comes in a 3.8 inch, but this is a lot thicker, and I like that thickness. And the paddle tail is a lot, you know, it's a lot smaller. This keeps that large profile in there, but I can still shorten this thing up. And if I get, you know, a lot of short strikes, I'll do that. If not, if they're swallowing this thing, then I'm not going to touch it. So it's a win-win. I always go with bigger. Don't go smaller. You can always make the bigger soft plastic smaller, but you can't make the smaller soft plastics bigger. The way that I like to swim these. So the jig and the VMC hook are pretty similar, but pretty different. So with the jig setup or the chatterbait, I like to swim in through the water, get that tail going, but I like to give it short pauses, because when it's falling and then you lift back up, you want this skirt to flare out like a jellyfish. A jellyfish would be a good example. Like that, while that tail is going, it's going to just give a beautiful presentation. Any bass around, they're just going to eat that thing up. With the VMC, I don't really do the up and down, the pause. I'll let it drop at different levels and stuff like that, but it's a pretty simple just cast and retrieve. The only thing I'll change up really when it comes to using one of these VMC swim bait hooks with these paddle tails is the speed. The main situation that I choose to use one of these things is when I'm fishing off a boat or from shore. If I see a school of bait fish, whether it's bluegill, shad, whatever, you know, whatever baby fish is there, that's when I'll throw this. If I see a bunch, just a school of little bait fish, I'll throw this past that school and I'll retrieve it back right through that school, because most of the time, especially in the winter or in the fall during gorge times, that's where a bass is sitting. The bass is sitting close to that food source. So if I see a bunch of bait fish sitting around, I'm going to throw this in there and just try to trigger a reaction or a hunger bite. That's pretty much it, guys. This is a really short, simple, and a beautiful lure to use at any skill level, honestly. Use it however you want. At the end of these videos, like I said, I can give you just tips and tricks, how I like to set it up, how I like to use it, but at the end of the day, do what works for you. I'm TC, this is Fresh Waters. I love you guys. Bye.